let me ask you this question. Read this question, please. Everybody, learning from nature. That's where our future lies. Who said this? Answer. Try to answer it. And just, I will give you hint, and you should know this personality. Big, big, big personality in the world. Man who wanted to know. I'm sure you know this man. I'm sure you know this. If you don't know this man, at least you know this man by, okay, this is a hint that I'm giving you. Sure. Who is he? Yes, you're right. You're right. Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci said, nature provides everything there. He was studying birds. He caught birds and studied how birds fly to design the first aircraft. The first aircraft made by wood was tried by this personality. Huge, huge, huge brain in this planet. Therefore, I appreciate. And Leonardo da Vinci said, back, see, learn from nature. He said, that's where our future lies. Exactly. This textbook, this unit talks about learning from nature, the first title. How can we learn from nature? Through imitation. When it comes to that nature in biology, what is that nature in biology? Living organisms. Okay? Living organisms. Especially, living organisms are unique. Unique. And let me show you. Basil. Yes. Okay. We have come to this point. In biology, we primarily learn from the living component of. I've said it several times. This, when we are learning from the living component of life, the living component of nature, that is known as biomimicry. Biomimicry. Mimicry is imitation. Just imitation. You are imitating living organisms. What? What do you imitate? The shape, the structure, some process in living organisms, some function process in living organisms. You imitate or you copy. It's copying. You see? Biomimicry. This is special term, new field of biology. What? Let us define formally. What is biomimicry? It's a combination of biology or biological things plus mimicry. Bio and mimicry. Mimicry is copying or imitation. Resembling. Just biomimicry is the science of taking inspiration from biological or the living nature. We are inspired, we study them, we copy them. We copy the shape, the physical structure, the process, the function, how they survive, how they live. You see? Therefore, biomimicry is the science of taking inspiration from biological or the living nature, the biological nature or the living nature, which are known as organisms. You see? We are learning from organisms. Biomimicry is an applied science that derives inspiration for solutions to solving complex human problems through the study of natural designs. Natural designs in living organisms, processes, systems in living organisms. You see, in living organisms, we study natural designs and copy it. Process natural processes, copy it. And systems, we copy it. Yeah? We have copied many living organisms, starting from the spider webbing, spider web, how spiders make their webs. We have translated it into making our own materials by spinning silk in the laboratory, so that we can make very tough threads which can be used for bulletproof vests or bulletproof t-shirts. Okay, jackets. Yeah. Then learning from the living nature, living organisms through imitation, biomimicry is unique. Underlying the term unique. Look, this special field, biomimicry, is unique. Learning from nature is unique. The learning from living nature is unique. The learning from non-living nature. You see, when we say nature, it includes abiotic, non-living, and biotic, living. Learning from the biotic part of nature, which is known as biomimicry, is unique as compared to different, much more important as compared to learning from the non-living part of our ecosystem, our planet. Why? Why do you think? Why do you think learning from the living? Then what makes biomimicry unique? Yes, we have said biomimicry is unique, and it is much more important than mimicking the non-living nature. What makes it? What makes it? Then what makes biomimicry unique? This, you see, living organisms. Living organisms. The first life has been there 3.8 billion years ago. The first cell. 3.8 billion years of evolution. Evolution. There is constant, non-stop evolution, non-stop progressive change in the genetic material of living organisms as adaptation to the changing environment. Organisms are the products of one big process in biology, which is known as, underline this term, please. This term, evolution. Evolution is making living organisms to be well adapted to their changing environment. Therefore, there are miracles in living organisms, starting from the simplest single-cell bacteria to the most complex animal or plant. There are adaptations, huge adaptations. What are these adaptations? Behaviors, morphologies, anatomies, chemistry, biochemistry that are suited to survive in their changing environment. So we have huge to learn from living organisms because evolution have taught them, evolution have made them to produce the most adapted features, the most suitable features. So if we copy living organisms, of course, and translate it or change it into technology, that technology will be energy efficient, resource efficient, plus environmental friendly. Believe me, environmental friendly. It will not pollute that much the environment if we copy living organisms to make some machines. Therefore, biomimicry is far more important because we are copying living organisms. Then what are living organisms? All living organisms are the products of 3.8 over 3.8 billions of years of change. Good change. From simple to complex change. The evolution have taught living organisms big lesson. That lesson can be translated into our machineries or our robots, our all aspect technology. And living organisms are shaped by evolution and have structures, shapes, processes that are well adapted to make them survive in their immediate environment. Imagine, this is the essence. If you are asked, why is biomimicry unique as compared to what we mimic in physics and mimic in non-living environment? Because living organisms are the products of evolution. Evolution is slow and gradual change in living organisms as response to the changing environment. This change is enabling the organisms to cope up with hardships, to survive in hardships. Ability to resist drugs, for example, by bacteria is evolution, adaptation. Therefore, the adaptation is ability to survive in a harsh environmental condition. Therefore, this is the lesson that evolution taught for living organisms. So, they are rich in such lessons. If we copy them, we can make machineries or any other instrument applications that are energy efficient. That means they use lesser amount of energy, plus material efficient, less material, and we can get some machineries with less material. And also, the process will not produce that much big environmental pollution. Therefore, they are relatively eco-friendly. Three advantage. We will come to the advantage of biomimicry later. And now, these living organisms provide practical lessons to be learned and imitated by human beings. to solve human problems in many areas. In many areas. If you like, go medicine. There are many machineries imitated from living organisms. Machineries. If you go to in physics, especially these days, the AI technology is imitating lots of designs taken from living organisms, starting from the shape, the locomotion or movement, the way parts of the body are working, everything. Therefore, the living organism provide practical lessons to be learned and imitated by human beings to solve human problems or to make human life simple. To make human life simple. Okay. Now, the advantage or benefit, as I've told you, I've tried to advantage or benefit or learning from nature or biomimicry. What is advantage of biomimicry as compared to mimicking or imitating non-living part of nature? One works with less energy. I have tried to tell you earlier, more energy efficient. Two works with less material, resource efficient. Three provides diverse source of inspiration for scientists, engineers, architects. Diverse source because life is in our planet. Life is diverse. How many different types of organisms are there? Maybe more than 3 million species of living organisms. Therefore, I'm sorry, more than 3 billion species of organisms. It is not millions, billion of species. Therefore, each species has adaptation. So therefore, we have a lot to copy. This animal, this organism, this one, this plant. Therefore, there is provides diverse source of inspiration or something to be imitated for scientists, engineers, and architects from different fields of interest. The other advantage is much lower negative impact on the environment. They are eco-friendly. When we study biology, we know about organisms. Organisms are rich in adapted features. Adapted features are produced by the process of evolution. And therefore, if we imitate, first we study them or study their shape, structure, function, then copy them into some machineries or technology so that our life will be easier or we can solve our own problems in many fields. Now, these are the advantage. The other aspect, the better, therefore, the better we understand living organisms, the better we design technology that is imitated from living organisms. You see, we have to understand living organisms, how they work, their shape, their function, process, everything, chemistry. We have to study in detail at molecular level. So, if we better understand living organisms, we can have better design, architecture, design, engineering work, any aspect of application. Then, using imitation of nature, they can sketch the biological structures, design functional mechanisms, and tune into more efficient technologies at macro, large scale, and nano, very small scale. For example, nano scale. If you study bacteria, and if you study the membrane of bacteria, and in that membrane, if you study one particular protein transport, which transports material in and out, how it works, you can design a robot based on that nano scale. Very small, ultra microscopic, nano scale, very small scale. This requires huge energy for study at molecular level. You study organisms at their molecular level. You study the protein profile, their DNA, RNA, how their cell membrane works, how their mitochondria works. Otherwise, you may study large scale, macro or large scale. You may study the trunk of elephant, how it moves, its trunk. Then you design a robot which works just like the trunk of elephant. This is at large scale. Or you may design a robot which can jump just like kangaroo. Kangaroo is big. Therefore, we may imitate living organisms at macro level, large scale, or nano level at molecular scale, very small scale through imitation. Therefore, the other aspect of this lesson is what are the technologies imitated from nature. Now, we are coming to the point, showing you some designs. What are the technologies imitated from nature? The design and adaptation of many technologies we utilize today have been imitated from living organisms. So far, we have imitated birds. I have told you, starting from the Leonardo da Vinci. He caught birds and studied how they fly. How they fly. He studied how they fly and tried to design his own first wooden made aircrafts. Bats. We studied bats and designed robots that look like bats. Termites. Termites. Mound. Termites. Uh, Mound. We call it mound. How they construct from mud, self-cooling, that maintains its own internal constant temperature. Buildings have been imitated from termite mounds. Spider web have been imitated. We do have now artificial spider silk, which can be used as bulletproof vest or bulletproof covering or body covering shirt. We have imitated beeswax. Hexagonal wax has been imitated to be very tough. We have imitated ants. We have imitated the human body, like we have imitated the eye to make our cameras. And therefore, when it comes to this, some examples of technology that imitates nature, technologies that imitate nature. For example, this is the swallow nests. This is swallow birds. This is swallow bird. The swallow bird constructs such a nest by using mud. They make it in pairs, the female and male together collaborate to make their nests. This nest is very strong concrete, even will not fall by gravity or any other force pressure. Therefore, we may see how they mix all the muds and the grass. They mix grass and mud. This has been used for construction. This has been imitated for construction. This organism have taught the human being how to construct buildings from mud. How can we mix the mud? What type of soil we have to use, and what types of grass to stick together? They have used grass. Therefore, this is one. This is swallow nests inspired house building design. The other is weaving. Weaving technologies have been developed by studying the formation of spider webs. Spider webs have been designed. The spider web, as I have told you, to make a spider web is very, very, very tough. That's tough. It can stretch without breaking. It's tough. So, because of this property, tough, it do not break, stretches without breaking. This means this property of spider silk allows scientists to make the spider silk in the laboratory by genetically engineering. They took, of course, it's protein. Spider silk is protein. What type of protein? Tough protein. What does it mean? Tough means it can stretch without breaking. It's good. So they made it artificially in the laboratory by genetically engineering. Took the gene from the spider and inserted into goats, and the goat produced the protein in its milk. So they extracted the silk from the milk and webbed it, and they made bulletproof vest, bulletproof clothing, which can be used by soldiers. And the other is this, I've told you earlier. This is termite mound. Termite mounds constructed from mud. You see, the inside is this one, the hot air. The inside, the hot air comes out easily without keeping the inside warm. Cold air comes in, therefore self-ventilating construction. You see how much they are genius, the termites. They can make this construct without learning, naturally, without learning, without taking engineering, architecture, whatever. Nature have taught, evolution have taught them how to produce self-cooling, or just a construction, a home, a house, which can maintain a constant temperature inside. They imitated one scientist, one architect, in Zimbabwe given to construct huge mall. It's a mall, huge marketing area in Zimbabwe to minimize the electric cost and building a mall. This one. He studied first how this these inlets, cold air comes in, how hot. Therefore, he imitated the design on this so that the Eastgate, we call it the Eastgate mall building in Zimbabwe, uses 35% less electricity than the other usual constructions because of the design imitated from termite mound. You see, this is now the Eastgate Center. They call it the Eastgate Center. It's market center, huge market center, huge building. And go internet, go and see. There are videos how it works. It can show you the design and how it works there.